Chapter 31. The journey had brought us to the bottom of a very steep mountain, one she had to climb. Julia was to repeat her farewells day after day to so many dear friends and relations, each of them with only one goodbye to say, she torn by so many. But she did it bravely and thanked each person for what they had brought into her life. But we both knew there could only ever be one goodbye. Two would hurt too much. The cigarette excuse became the tool she used to ask her visitor to wheel her out for some time in the outside world before their departure. I would often wait on the lounge she passed on the way to the no smoking sign, her visitors pushing the chair, and she would invite me to join them, and afterwards I would push the chair back to her room. Our well-being was always on Julia's mind. She understood we needed breaks, time out from the intensity of it all, but she didn't have that option herself. She observed sadly that she couldn't have a holiday from dying. She supported us as much through it all as we supported her. But she was struggling still, death pulling her where she didn't want to go. Emma and I took her down to the riverbank one morning, she bleak with the strain of her existence. But we turned it around with a suggestion of funeral plans. She had given the matter some thought, and as we live in a parish that services two churches, had chosen the church where her grandparents were married. The tune to end the service would not be a love song, but an ode to life and friendship, she explained as she sang Louis Armstrong, "What a Wonderful World." I was glad I wasn't there when she said goodbye to her girlfriends, a long list of them. But she did not see them as one group. They were too precious for that. Julia made sure that each had that moment of intimacy, each with a piece of jewellery and their memory of her. Friends who had been able to transport her from reality just by their presence. I had known them since they were children, and I was spared their sadness. Scheduling visitors became a serious issue. No sleep, the stress for her, people ringing me and pleading their case for a visit, while she was in fact the one in charge with her mobile phone. People who felt they may never have the chance to say goodbye, but she wanted to see them all and worked to ensure she did. Annie came each day and brought with her a retreat from the giddy whirl of that ride, sleep and the energy of prayer, a resting place on that mountainside. I was often there and prayed with Annie, and I asked her one day if she realised the peace that she brought with her healing, because I knew she was still hoping for a cure. I ran into Annie and Julia as I was delivering the sushi for their lunch one day. They were in the bus shelter, Julia in her chair, and I overheard the end of their conversation, Julia assuring Annie she had faith in her. She asked me to wheel her to the bathroom to give an explanation. "What will happen to Annie when you die? I don't want her to feel as if she has failed," I gently inquired. But Julia was sure she could look after Annie. Annie brought a lot of strength to the rest of us too. She had calmness about her, which she delivered with a smile, and we all knew that she brought to Julia, all glad whenever she entered the room. Julia organised for Annie to give a massage to all the family, including Liam, who had stayed on without his family to lend me a hand. Annie was happy to be of service, but Julia insisted that she would pay, a gift to us all. Jimmy, on the other hand, brought with him nothing but disillusionment in the existence of an archangel.